I had a video banned on TikTok. And honestly, this is the first time that I've ever had a video banned that I can remember for violating guidelines or something like that. So it's not on TikTok anymore, still on YouTube Shorts, by the way, but I thought we'd start here by letting me just play the video. It's only about a minute long, and so that we can get it on the table and talk about it, and we'll move on from there. So let's watch that.
Let's talk about some things in the Bible that don't make sense. First off, the fact that Jesus is a boy. Biologically, he would be a female since Mary didn't actually do the deed with God and there was no sperm to deliver the Y chromosome. Therefore, he literally only would have had an X chromosome, so he's either trans or something's messed up there.
If you don't want to be listen, if you want to be a Christian, don't be a Christian. But internal to the system, if God could create the universe from nothing, like if you could accept that, is there really that big of a problem with the notion that he could ensure that a woman is pregnant with a male baby? Same answer, samesies. Stop it, you guys. Stop it. Stop this madness. Now notice there's nothing in this that takes aim at the trans community or even speaks negatively about gender ideology at all. I merely reacted to a claim that Jesus is trans. And I reacted by pointing out that if you can believe that God exists, that Christianity is true, like internal to the system, if you can believe that all of that is true, he's the creator of everything, that God is the creator, the Christian God is the creator of all things, including chromosomes themselves. Like, if you can believe that much, what is the problem with that creator being able to ensure that a woman gives birth to a male baby? And then you saw the other video that I threw into the same TikTok where the guy says that Eve must have been trans, presumably because she's taken from Adam, which is XY chromosomes, and so she's a woman with XY chromosomes, and so we have a trans person there. And I just give the same answer. Now, I don't actually think that TikTok knows or cares who I am. I don't think big tech is trying to specifically silence me in this way. The other explanation is that, yes, according to TikTok, suggesting the extremely fringe view, apparently, that Jesus wasn't actually trans is just going way too far with the conservative talking points. But of course, I don't think TikTok knows who I am. Anyway, Matt Dillahunty enters the scene. Just as I don't think TikTok knows who I am or is trying to silence me specifically, I don't think Matt Dillahunty knows or cares that I made a video and then that video got banned on TikTok. I mean, maybe, but probably not. And that makes it all the more worthy of mention because he responds to both of the claims that I threw into this TikTok, and he responded to them all on his own and not even in response to these particular TikToks, so far as I know. And interestingly, he seems to agree with me on this topic, or at least with respect to a particular kind of argument that we're going to take a look at. Matt was apparently stirred to make a video like this in response to a online conversation he had with someone who was trying to show that Jesus must be trans via a dilemma. So on the one hand, if it was the case that Jesus had a gender prior to the incarnation and it was male, and then was male in his incarnation in a physical body, well, then that just goes to show that gender doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your physical body. Gender could exist even if there is no physical body and that sort of thing. So that helps the gender ideology. But then on the other hand, if you want to say that God had no gender, that the second person of the Trinity had no gender, and then when he became a man, now he has a gender, well, and it's male, then that means that that Jesus is trans, that there was a transition from not male to male. But notice it wasn't a transition from some other biological sex to now the biological sex of male and the identifying as man and all that sort of thing. It was on this horn of the supposed dilemma. It's you don't have a biological being, and then when someone becomes a biological being, yes, they have a gender and they have male biology or female biology, and in this case male biology, and it's man, but that's just because there are a lot of things that go along with being a human being, and having a human biology and gender is part of that. But in any case, Dillahunty deals with this dilemma, and I want to be clear, he's very much not taking the side of conservative evangelicals on this in terms of his own views about all these things. But for the purposes of his discussion with some online interlocutor, he was taking the place of a Christian and arguing as a Christian might argue back to an argument like this. And you can check that out, click it in the description. There's a link to that video. You can watch the whole thing. But here's the segment where he reacts specifically to the types of arguments that were in the TikTok that got banned. And to set that up again, here's a brief slice from the TikTok to remind you.
Biologically, he would be a female since Mary didn't actually do the deed with God and there was no sperm to deliver the Y chromosome. Therefore, he literally only would have had an X chromosome, so he's either trans or something's messed up there.
All right, and here's Matt.
Irrespective of what you think about trans ideology or anything else, this is just a take on this argument. So the reply that I got back was, if the Christian in turn, that I was pretending to be, doesn't accept gender in the identity sense and they only accept male or female biologically, then they're committed to Jesus being female. Since God has no biology, he would be genderless. So Jesus was only born to a female. Jesus would only have chromosomes XX, meaning Jesus Christ is female. I told you we would be getting back to this absolutely terrible argument. And so they continue. So if they want to say that Jesus was a male, then they're committed to Jesus transitioning because he had XX chromosomes and was a man. But in what way did Jesus transition if they're committed to biological gender only? The argument that because Mary was impregnated by a non-human being through some magical process, that the only options were for her to give birth to a child with XX chromosomes is really stupid. I get why it's appealing. I get why some people have jumped on it, but it's really, really stupid.
Okay, now here's Matt's response interspersed with some of mine.
You got to remember, from the standpoint of the Christian whose hat I was putting on for the first part of this, and now I'm going to continue having it on, the God who is believed to have created life and every living thing.
If God could create the universe from nothing,
including living things that reproduce asexually and species that aren't merely sexually dimorphic.
like if you could accept that,
somehow cannot make a woman pregnant with a boy?
Is there really that big of a problem with the notion that he could ensure that a woman is pregnant with a male baby?
Cannot make a woman pregnant with a boy?
Is pregnant with a male baby. With a boy?
With a male baby.
Cannot make a woman pregnant with a boy?
Now, what about the second bit about Eve being trans? Well, here's that again. Same answer, samesies. And here's Dillahunty's reaction to that.
If he can form a man from dirt, the way Genesis makes it sound, then he's creating the chromosomes. And if he can pull from that man a rib with which to magically form a female and make that one XX, I don't know how you get to God had to be limited to parthenogenesis.
So there you go. But before you really dig in with someone on this topic, if they raise an argument kind of like this one, just be aware that at least for several of the commenters on Matt's video, this argument is only used just to mess with Christians. Not saying that's how everyone is who uses one of these arguments, but some of them admit that that's what's going on. Look, TikTok may have banned this video, but whether you're a Christian or not, this argument's gotta go.